Yeah, back in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Shantana, DJ Jeremiah was good.
All right, for all things Trackstarz, visit trackstarz.com with a Z. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Trackstarz, Twitter at Trackstarz, like the Facebook page, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, all right?
Ooh, it's a special day.
It is.
Special day.
Yeah.
Especially for y'all, huh?
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I'm a married man, so I never compliment women, but I just want to turn to this young lady and say, you look so pretty today. You look very pretty.
You should have said that when she came in.
Now,
went to the
show. You got to do it for the real effect, right?
Yeah.
That's the real effect.
But shout outs to them.
So if y'all don't know, okay, Toya, this is Ryan's wife.
Yeah.
Maya, this is Jeremiah's wife.
Yeah.
So the reason they're here today is because they started their own podcast, Becoming Eva. So can you guys tell us about it and what to expect?
Well, Becoming Eva is a podcast that's going to be used for women to glean from each other. We're going to be talking a lot about relationships, careers, business, all from a woman's perspective.
Dope.
Very cool.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's just exciting to be working together on this because, I mean, we've been friends for a while, but like stepping into this endeavor has been a real journey. So
yeah, I'm really proud of you guys. You guys have worked really hard at the rollout and the concentration that has gone into finding a name and building up and doing social media and all that stuff. It's really great to see you guys taking on a mantle that we have carried for so long, as far as like being on podcasts, being on social media, being a voice to the community. So I'm just really proud and very excited about this project coming out.
You guys are doing a great job. Like,
Yeah.
Every step of the way is very professional.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
where did the inspiration come from for Becoming Eva? Where did you guys come up with the idea that this was something that was needed in the marketplace?
Well, when I went to the Woman Evolve conference in Colorado this summer by Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, she really challenged us to allow God to speak to us and stretch us. And for me, I am kind of a quiet person, and I've never been very vocal in the classroom or outspoken, and I saw this vision of me actually doing a talk show, and of course I talked to you and I was like, that's really big, where do I even start? And you suggested, well, everybody starts with a podcast, so start with a podcast.
Awesome. Now what's interesting is that Maya is not a stranger to the stage, a stranger to the mic. So how are you feeling about all of this?
It's an interesting season for me. When we first talked, first of all, I was honored that you would even, consider linking up for something like this. But I knew it was something that I'm gifted and called to do, but I've kind of been in obscurity for like the last 5 years, just, dealing with just health and resetting as a person. And so it looks and feels very different this time around because I feel like I'm just dependent on God in completely new and different ways. So I'm excited, but at the same time, just humbled. So
let me tell you why I think this works so well, because you've been so instrumental in dropping nuggets of wisdom on Trackstarz for so many years. I mean, people rave about you when they're on YouTube, when when you say something. When you speak to the women in the Trackstarz community, they rave about it. And so it just makes sense that the two voices would pair up and make something so dynamic like this.
Yay. We're excited. I mean, we realize that women need an outlet, and honestly, especially women of God, because I feel like honestly, usually I won't say suffer in silence, but we live life in silence and just kind of go through the motions and do what we need to do as single women, as married women, as moms, as career women, or what have you, but we aren't always given the freedom or the liberty to really talk and have an outlet for one another and encourage one another from a biblical perspective. And so that's what I'm really excited about, because I feel like there is a community of women out there that need something like this and need the freedom to say, hey, we're here, we get you, we understand one another, and we want to support one another. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And fellas, you can learn something too. I mean, I know for a fact Maya has given me a lot of wisdom over the years as well. So what they have to say of course is directed towards women, but it's just clear wisdom in these two ladies. and they have a lot of insight into a lot of different topics. So I would say pay attention, whoever you are, to what's coming. This is a big deal.
What you say is key, because if their podcast is anything like the inspiration that came from the idea, we were driving out of town one day and we were listening to Sarah Jakes Roberts on her podcast, right? And she was saying so many different things that to the women about men. I was just sitting there like, okay, all right, cool. It was just, basically giving tips and nuggets about how you treat your spouse and how.
Was she right?
You know what? Because this is a podcast, I'll go ahead and say what she said.
We're gonna do a podcast about every show that you guys do.
Yeah. So because she's a podcast already and this is out there, she was saying that her husband helps her take out her tracks, right? And I was like, okay.
Oh, in her hair.
Yeah.
Break it down.
Yeah. I was just like interested, and she was just like, girl, you don't have a good man if your man is not willing to help you take out your tracks and take off your eyelashes and stuff like that. And I was thinking to myself, that's something that I would never do. Like, I would never ask about, do you need help? You know what I mean? Like, well, first of all,
paint
That's
my
all I
nails.
was gonna
You can
say.
paint my nails.
have I done that before?
No.
Okay.
I've asked.
All right.
You have not. I have.
Oh, wow.
I know the kids have asked, but I don't know about,
I've asked you to paint my nails.
This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and I can say this is going to be an exciting journey for our family because
Are
we
y'all
have.
gonna put them on blast?
Probably so.
That's all I care about.
So you could be listening every week.
We
to be
do
like,
have an
We
episode
talked about
planned
having y'all on.
Yeah.
for our spouses.
Well, technically, you mean you kind of put us on blast when you all did the top 5 things that
Yeah.
Women don't like.
Still
to
Good
trending.
video.
men.
Good video to
It's
watch.
still
Great
trending.
video.
It
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
still trending.
Still probably one of the
It
top views that we had on like a topic video, right?
So if you don't know what we're talking about, one day we actually just stepped away from the mic, and my wife, Toya, Maya, who somebody else there?
Yeah, gosh, we had.
It was Jasmine Lachey.
Yep, we had
Jasmine
Jasmine Lachey.
They
and
took our spot and they
somebody
did the
else
whole
here,
show.
too.
Yeah.
And they did a topic, top 5 reasons
Mm-hmm.
Christian
Why
men are
Christian?
still single or something
Yes.
like that.
Not sexy.
And it was cutting. It was mean.
It's been mean over the years.
I was gonna say, was
was
not the
truthful.
first one for 5 reasons why Christian women aren't sexy was not cutting or
But we were
mean.
very
Whoa,
fair.
whoa,
It was all true.
Yeah.
And ours was true
And
too.
then the drought came.
That's why it was cutting, honestly.
Yeah, but I'm excited because we're raising 3 little girls, and I think this is going to be an empowering moment for our family,
Yeah.
for our kids to be able to turn on mommy and hear what she has to say, turn on daddy and hear what he has to say. I love the social media. I love the internet because it has content that lives forever, right? Before my father passed, I wish he had put something on social media or YouTube or something
watch it,
so I can watch it back, and then the kids could see who their grandfather was. And my father passed away 30 days before our first child was born. So, different things like that. And so if anything ever happened, God forbid, to either one of us, our kids can kind of be raised from the wisdom that we put out on social media and on internet. So I think it's a blessing to have this, to be in this era with, technology being so advanced.
So who is Eva?
I knew somebody was going to ask that. I knew somebody was. So, I would say Eva is basically Eve 2.0. You start in Genesis where basically, if we're honest, Eve messed it up. She messed it up for a lot of us women, for all of the women,
Everybody.
And then you fast forward to later in the Old Testament, Proverbs 31, and you get into what the restoration of Eve looks like.
Yeah.
And so for us, we use that as an inspiration for who Eva is, because we feel like Eva is the evolution of Eve. She's the restoration of Eve, because thank God that he didn't leave us where, in Genesis, where we left off there, but he brought it full circle and said, I'm going to restore you. I'm going to restore your family. And I'm just, going to make you whole. So that's where Eva came from.
That's awesome.
What are some tough topics that you guys are thinking about hitting?
Wow. And feel free. Yeah. We've had tough conversations and topics just over the process of this. But I think about a lot of things that women deal with, but they don't necessarily feel comfortable sharing.
Sexual abuse.
Yeah.
That's a tough topic.
Infertility.
Yeah. Infertility.
Mental health, mental wellness, depression, self-esteem. These are real
Body
issues.
image.
Yeah. That women deal with that you're not always willing to talk about, or feel like you don't have support to talk about.
And even intimacy with your spouse. So a little bit of sex topics too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is grown and sexy.
Well,
Yeah.
we grown
This
and
is-
sexy, so
But what I mean by that is
So
like
glad my wife's not on
it's I know.
she will be a guest, though. She will be a guest. Don't sleep.
So it's, what I'm saying is like it's for a young adult, or even I would say even, do you feel like you want to reach young girls with this, like teenagers, or do you feel like young adults is you guys target?
I believe so. I mean, the beautiful thing, we were just talking about this today, how we're already kind of creating a tribe, if you will, and getting the next generation involved. Like, I mean, we have 2 young women helping us out today. We're like, look at this, like Eva is growing, you know.
Yeah.
So, but just that is the goal as well, that we would be able to be a positive role model, you know, for your daughters, for, you know, the next generation to come. So
That's interesting. That's interesting. My wife is also working on her second book.
yeah.
And I've been reading it, and I've been having to change my name from Ryan to like Randy or something, because there's some things in there that. But I love where it's going. I love the tone. I think it's gonna marry very well with Becoming Eva, the podcast. And so I'm really excited for you all's 2020. Really,
Yeah,
really
man.
proud of you all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
No, it's gonna be. It sounds good. I mean, if y'all are tackling all that, like I said, everybody needs to hear it. Even like if you're a husband, maybe you need to listen to it to kind of get insight into what your wife may be dealing with, and
Yeah.
you know, internal, external things that she may be dealing with, to give you some, you know, some insight on how to do better at your job.
Yeah, yeah. And shout out to the Woman Evolve conference. Like, they have championed. I mean, there's people on our team that have gone out to this conference and have come back changed and renewed with more vision. And so I think it's just really great that you guys have someone who's successful at this already, right? And you're putting your own spin to it. And I think that a lot of people are going to get something out of that. So congratulations to all the hard work you all put in.
So how can people follow you guys now? Like, where do they go?
They can check us out at Becoming Eva Today on Instagram and Twitter, and they can like us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
Awesome.
And
And we have a
website?
website, yep, becomingevatoday.com.
So go support them. Sign up for any kind of list. Follow. Do whatever you need to do right now. When is this? When is the official launch?
January the 11th.
Yep, at 10 a.m. Eastern.
And you guys are going to do this live?
Yeah,
Okay.
Facebook
Live, yep.
and website Live.
yeah, and then we'll branch out from there. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Awesome. It's exciting,
Cool.
guys. Great
Thank
job.
y'all.
Yeah. Can we also thank the wonderful graphic designer
Yes,
of the
yes.
website,
please.
of the images and
Yes.
the logo and the photographer?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you,
I
sir.
mean, shout out to
Yes.
Shantana, for real. Shout out to Trackstarz, period. Just thank y'all for your support. But, I mean, y'all hear it all the time. Shauna's a beast behind the scenes. But,
Oh, yeah.
like, of course, we're experiencing it more and more up close as we're working with him in this endeavor. And he's been phenomenal, from our images to website, graphics, all of the above. And you all just modeling out this whole process for us has been awesome. So,
No, it's been glad to.
Thank y'all.
We've been glad to help and just see kind of like the reason we work so hard at this is from the beginning the goal was to help other people do what we're doing, so we could figure out a formula and then we could pass it on to other people. And there's been a lot of brands that have been birthed out of Trackstarz and
Yeah.
J. That's what we wanted. That's what we want to see.
Yeah.
So we're really excited for you guys.
And shout out to Trey too, man. He's
Yes.
lending his
Trigger.
creative talents to help out as well. So we appreciate
Yes.
you, sir.
thank y'all.
All right, man. Let's get back into it. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Shantana, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.
This show